and Mr. Paco Ruiz. Well, on the communications, we'll begin with a 10-year service award to Park Superintendent Eric Dittmars.
Congratulations, Eric.
Ten years. First, I'd like to thank you for your service and dedication to the city. I know you have a passion for parks. I mean, I've been out there, I've seen it. Not only the passion, the vision, you were a huge part of the renovation we're just completing as well. That's probably the biggest project since in your 10 years, I would assume. But again, thank you on behalf of the city, and congratulations. Is there anyone in the public that would like to address the board? Anyone in the public that would like to address the board? Hearing none, we'll move on to reports from departments, building and planning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have 3 items on the agenda this morning. First, the owner of 1405 Barron Courts requesting approval for utility services easement encroachment agreement permitting a privacy fence in the easement.
I'll move to approve the utility service easement encroachment at 1405 Barron Court.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, I'll call for a question. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign, motion carried.
Next, Elizabeth's Garden Bakeries requesting approval to locate their mobile vendor unit on South Jackson Street between West 7th Street and West 8th Street, or Cedar Street between East 8th Street and East 9th Street in the event of a road closure at their primary location, which is currently North Jackson Street between West 6th Street and West 7th Street on Saturdays between the hours of 8 a.m. and 8 p.m.
I'll make a motion to deny that request. And that is due to ordinance 112-140, where it says if a vendor's primary location is not available due to a private street closure, they will not be permitted to set up elsewhere unless they are specifically invited by the event organizer. And that is per the itinerant vendor ordinance. So I'll make a motion to deny that and allow the primary location only still on Saturdays from 8 to 8.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion?
The discussion I would add is I feel like she is just trying to figure out a way to sell. So hopefully we can work through this itinerant agreement, help her continue to communicate with her, be transparent about it, and maybe even encourage her to find her own downtown space if she's doing a good amount of business and she can rent and have some space in our friendly downtown Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
That would be great.
And the alternate locations will create conflicts, right? We only have a number of designated spaces. And if we allow everybody to include alternate locations on their applications, how do we accept applications for those locations throughout the year? So if there's no other questions or discussion, I'll call for a question. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign, motion carried.
And last, on April 15th, 2025, our office issued a notice of order of enforcement to the owners of 416 West 7th Street, Auburn, for violations that exist per the provisions of IC 36-7-9, which is the state's unsafe building law, and chapters 158 and 159 of the City of Auburn's Code of Ordinances. This order states the owners had 60 days to comply by completing all items listed under the corrective measures for compliance section. The violations needed to be corrected by June 16th, 2025, in which not one has been addressed to date. Due to the willful failure to comply with the order, I'm requesting the board's approval to publicly advertise and let bids from licensed contractors to perform the work of demolition of the residential structure and cleanup of the property.
Zach, I know we have a public hearing, he's over here, for Board of Works, you're on this side. I know we have the public hearing after we have the motion in the second. Can we have any discussion prior? Because there's a few things I'd like to share prior to, okay. So, I'm gonna have, if Mr. or Mrs. Ruiz, one of you would like to come up, I have a few questions before we get to the motion. And just please state your name when you come up.
Mary Pro.
Yes. Thank you.
Aureliano Ruiz, the owner of the property at 416 West 7th. Property in question?
Yes. So when the building administrator was speaking, he mentioned that the 60-day timeframe began on April 15th, which
Correct.
was the last public hearing we had on this property.
Correct.
Nothing has been completed, and here we are 30 days after the 60 days, so a total of 90 days, and still nothing completed.
May I address that issue? When the initial ruling was made, there was flooding in the basement that had E. coli. I was all prepared to have the chemicals shipped to my house to eradicate it, and then was told I was not allowed to do it. I would have been happy to let them come and retest afterwards, whatever, but I was not allowed. But because of the basement, all the other things in the upper levels of the house were off limits to me because they boarded up the house. I have no way to get in there to do anything. The stairs was one of them. I had taken off the railing because they painted over the wood, and I had all the spindles ready to put on a lathe and sand them down and then stain them and put it back together. I have all the pieces to put it all back together, but I wanted to do it properly because I wanted to renovate the house from the inside. But because of it being boarded up, I could not do anything on the inside. $28,000 was the cheapest bid I had on the cleanup of the basement, which I could have done for $500. I feel that the city ordinances and state ordinance had my hands tied the whole time because I don't have access to those funds, that kind of money, no. And this morning I've signed a contract to sell the house for $6,000 and have my stuff removed within the next 30 days, which it's not going to take that long. But that's being said and done. My wife and I are resigned to the fact that the property is no longer ours. And we have no place really to go yet, but I have purchased a camper and am now looking for places to be able to move to with it. And storage space, we tried the last 2 weeks and nobody had anything available in the area. But until today, I couldn't do anything. I have a gentleman that has 2 pickups that he's allowing us to use to move the stuff, but we still needed the place to move the stuff to. That being said, I feel that I have nothing more to say. If you have any more questions.
All right, thank you. We'll open up a public hearing here shortly if you have any other things you'd like to share with the board.
Mayor, if I may, I'd like to reply to Mr. Ruiz's comments.
Sure.
I believe the city's been more than accommodating, allowing them inside the house. There's been two dates, June 18th. We met the Ruizes and unsealed the front and rear doors to allow them time to remove personal assets from the time of 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. that day. And then again on July 7th, I met with the Ruizes at the location and allowed a investor to walk through the property. So again, we've been more than accommodating, meeting them there and unsealing the doors. If they would have just come forward and asked if we could do that in regards to them doing work, we would have allowed it. But there's never been that request. There's only been 2 requests to allow them to remove their personal assets and allow 2 investors to walk through the house.
We were just given a copy of this agreement here moments ago, so we're going to take a few minutes and look this over. You have one as well, Jay?
Yes.
Okay. Good with that? Okay. After reviewing this agreement, there's a few concerns that I have. I know the potential buyer walked through the property on July 7th, correct?
That is correct.
However, they still have in here that they have the right to come back through the property. I'm not sure, how long was the visit or the?
It was rather quick,
Okay.
maybe 15 minutes inside.
Okay. So there's a contingency for them to have the ability to come back through, which could void this agreement. And then also on the third page, 30-day closing, but also subject to a 90-day period in which buyer and seller shall be permitted to clear any title issues. And that only applies if there's anything that comes up with the title search. But this property really shouldn't take even 30 days to close if it's cash. Like I mentioned, and I think you stated this too, that the order to vacate was affirmed at the April 15th Board of Works meeting. I do feel that the Building and Planning Department provided the clear guidance to address the necessary items. I also feel that there was lack of communication with your department as well, from the Ruizes. And there's been no significant effort to remediate a single thing on the list of conditions that they received or recommendations. I do know that they would have been allowed in the property. You've onboarded it a couple different times, but no request has been made to do that over the last 90 days. And there has been several other issues, and we can talk more during the public hearing, but with all that being said, I'm going to make the order to demo and clean up the entire property located at 416 West 7th. Authorize the Building and Planning Department Administrator to solicit for public bids for the demolition and cleanup. This process will follow the public bid process due to the nature of this. Once bids are publicly opened, the notice of award, notice of proceed will be brought to the next Board of Works meeting for approval. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
We can have some discussion now, or do I have to second it?
I would say at this point, we'd second it and then have another, we'll open up a public hearing.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. We're going to suspend the Board of Works meeting, open up the public hearing. Is there anyone that would like to come forward and speak in regards to 416 West 7th Street? Sir, please come up. Please state your name for the record.
My name is Wayne Spunhauer. I've been a lifelong off and on. I'm sort of like a gypsy. I just keep coming back, though. It's a good town to live in, good community. I've not known these people very long. I became acquainted with Mrs. She works at McDonald's, and I do all my heavy drinking at McDonald's. I'm sort of late in on the meetings and all the happenings, but I really wonder about the Indiana code. How, is there something that's all spelled out that gives you all this authority to condemn property and basically put it up for sale or do whatever I'm curious about what the Indiana code says and the machinations of whatever the IC numbers are.
I'll let you answer that. Okay.
I don't have, let's see. Indiana code,
3679.
what's that?
3679.
Yeah, it's Indiana code 3679 is the unsafe building code. And it details the process that we have to go through, which is the process that we have followed. And we're not, just to be clear, ownership doesn't change to the city. We're not putting it up for sale. This is about resolving a unsafe building situation.
Okay, then, I understand the part about not taking ownership on behalf of the city. But in the process, there was mention of, at least one investor in inspecting the property? Did he make an offer, or this person make an offer?
It was a low offer of $6,000 with several contingencies built into it, which means they have an option to opt out of the agreement. That 6,000 also, you have the taxes that come out, there's other closing fees, any liens, judgments that may be attached come out of that 6,000 as well.
And from a legal perspective on that, they have 90 days to clear any title issues. This proceeding itself is a title issue. We have recorded all the notices that we have provided to the Ruizes. I think getting title insurance would be very difficult with a order of enforcement relating to unsafe building. So I think that's a big amount of, I don't sell title insurance, so I can't say for sure, but I think that would be a very difficult hurdle to overcome. And this proceeding can't go away until the issue is resolved one way or the other. So I think that's, as far as the contract is concerned, I think that's very problematic.
Excuse me, you're referring to the contract that you're reviewing, that agreement, or, okay.
One we were just provided today.
Well, I'm not privy to that contract. That comes under the heading, it's none of my business. I guess if I would have been aware of some of this stuff, that I'd be up here squawking a little louder. I know they're a hardworking couple, and well, I guess non-response and meetings and so on didn't pan out the way they were supposed to, if there was no response and so on. So I guess it all boils down to what you decide about this contract it's in front of you. And that's all I have to say at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Aureliano Ruiz, I'd like to speak again. My wife just put a bug in my ear and went out of here because of your ruling. But she says that what Ryan has said up here is not all true, that she wanted to know if we could address the issues in the upper floors and was told no, that the basement had to be done first. So if the basement can't be touched, why would we ask to be allowed to get in the house other than when we did to get to start removing personal belongings? That I just wanted to point that one thing out, that it was our understanding that the basement had to be addressed first. So I couldn't address the stairwell.
So you're saying.
I could have addressed the stairwell. I would have addressed the stairwell. But I was told that the basement had to come first and I was not allowed to do it.
So then you just didn't ask? Is that, so because you thought
He said the basement had to be done first. I spent the first 60 days trying to find somebody that could do it within my budget, but 28,000 isn't, and they wanted it all up front. And I had no access to that kind of money.
Do you recall when that conversation took place?
I would have to ask my wife about that, but I don't have that answer. But just wanted to put that out there on public record that we were told the basement had to be done first. And that took everything out of my hands because financially this is killing us. I'm 64 years old at the end of the month, and I'm going to have to continue to work till the day I die because of the loss of this house. But it is what it is. My wife said this morning that she was having a breakdown and said, I asked what's wrong. She said, I'm asking God, why is this happening to us? And I told her the answer was that we weren't very good stewards of what he's given us, and he's allowing it to be taken away. That being said, I have nothing more to say other than the only thing that would keep this from being done in 30 days would be me not putting the $500 in the escrow account, because other than the property taxes and $300 fine from a week ago, everything else is resolved. Some legal fines ordinance fines that I had before, went to court and the court ordered it to be taken out of, garnished out of my paycheck. So that past one is moot because it's coming out of my check. So $300 and the property taxes. I told my wife that had to come out of that 6,000 off the top. I'm now that we're finally finding the storage space to move stuff to, we have things on the property stuff that's going to storage is in two different piles, and stuff that's going to be in a yard sale is in a different area with tables ready to be laid out and it's spread out. And we were just discussing signs for yard sale yesterday to get it out of there, especially after finding out that it's 30-day cash offer. The city wasn't willing to wait the 90 days, and then they find the 90-day parameters in here that, but I don't see any title problems coming because that house has been paid off by me years ago. I have nothing more to say, and still it's your decision and you have the final say. And if this sale moves forward right away, will the order to demolish, would that be rescinded, or could it be rescinded, or is there any options?
I'm gonna have to let our legal counsel answer that.
It could, if bids are let and then something alternate comes up before anything has been awarded. It's a possibility.
That's all I wanted to know.
I want to make sure that is very clear. So we have 2 weeks, bids go out. Ryan, bids go out. Can you walk us through that process if we vote on it?
Actually, the the public bid process, there's 2 notices, correct? Public bid? Okay. So I would say that process, I actually spoke with city engineer Darryl Mulcano because they deal with this every day. And my understanding is there'd be 2 public notices that have to go out. Darryl, you had mentioned bids minimum 30 days,
Yeah,
right?
there'll be 2 consecutive notices in the paper, 2 weeks, and then I believe 2 weeks after the last notice would be the closest you could accept bids. That's my understanding, according to Indiana code.
So that would be within the 30-day parameters of the contract
Yeah.
without the 90-day delay.
Yeah, because the process, we wouldn't make the first meeting in August, but we could make, it would be the meeting on August 19th. So it actually would be a little over, just under another week
So-
after that 30 days.
So if this was a done deal by that date, there's always the possibility of it being rescinded, correct?
It's legally possible.
That's all I wanted to know. I don't want them to walk away from this because of your order to demolish. I want to be able to get the rest of the stuff off the property and get back in the house and get the rest of it out. And I don't want to ask him to open the doors of the house until I get rid of everything in the yard and am able to move it straight to storage coming out of the house. I don't want it to be an eyesore for the city anymore. Do you have any more questions for me?
All I would ask is during whatever this next phase looks like, is to ensure that the orders are followed. I know that has been an ongoing thing since April 15th. And in regards to residing still at the property, you mentioned you just got a storage unit. The city was informed prior.
Well, we have one, but it's a small one, a couple blocks away, and it's 3/4 of the way full. But we wanted to get one of the ones on the new place out on Auburn Road, first month free, and they were all booked up. They were all occupied and had nothing. And last week, my wife was calling all over the place, and the closest one is in Waterloo, and they weren't available. She reserved it, but it wasn't available until today.
Yeah, so my recommendation would be just, if you
Keep it moving.
you say you're going to do it, make sure
keep-
to do it, stay in communication with building and planning, which my understanding is that has been, there's been very little to none. And then once we close this public hearing, we'll have the discussion up here with the board itself, and then we'll vote accordingly. So,
Thank you for hearing me out.
you're welcome. Okay. Is there anyone else that would like to speak in regards to the property located at 416 West 7th? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing, reconvene the Board of Works. Okay, we have a motion, a second, so we can continue our questions or discussion. Zach, I have one for you as legal counsel. You believe that that would be an option prior to acceptance of bid?
It's not an ideal option if we've got contractors bidding, but it is possible.
There is still a 90-day opt-out in here for them, and the Board of Works would have to
Well,
keep that as part of.
the 90, so if they were to get it closed within 30 days, that 90 days goes away. That 90 days is, they're saying they're gonna close within 30, But if there are title issues only, they can extend that time frame 90 days. So if they were to get closed prior to the next meeting, then we wouldn't be worried about that 90-day period because it would be done. So it is certainly possible to put it out for bid and then not do it. I would say it might be cleaner to maybe delay the letting of bids. Not that you can't do it, but it might be cleaner to, I guess, give whatever time the board is willing to give to get the closing done before the bids are officially let.
Could the motion include that if it is not closed by the 14th of August is a Thursday? Could the motion include that if it is not closed by that gives one extra day that week, the 15th, that on Monday, the public bid process will begin? That gives that 30-day window.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I guess, and I don't know how to necessarily get the information to the buyer, but maybe Mr. Reeves, this is for you. This order is subject to you because you are the current owner. It is subject to any future owner as well until the issues are resolved. So that's just, I think, an important part of this is someone can't buy it and sit on it and expect the city to do nothing about that.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it changes ownership doesn't mean that the condemnable parts of this house have been taken care of.
Understood. I will relay back information also.
Yeah, and the enforcement would still stay in effect, so there would still, most likely either way, if it does close, still be a meeting, probably have this on the agenda for the 19th. Is that correct? For the new owner to go through the requirements, or will that not be a requirement? 19th of August,
It
if it does close, or do they just
It
work
would,
with?
it would be my recommendation that whatever motion is made, we also set this for an additional hearing on the 19th so that Mr. Ruiz is notified and we just have it on the calendar, one way or another.
Yeah, either him or the new property owner. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. And no issue, just going back and amending my original motion, correct?
Sure.
Okay. I'm gonna rescind my original motion. I'm gonna go back and I am going to make the motion that we will grant Mr. and Mrs. Ruiz until August 15th to close on the property located at 416 West 7th. If the property is not closed by on or before August 15th, 2025, the Building and Planning Department will have authorization to put this out for public bid on August 18th to begin that process, and the order to demo and clean up the entire property will be in effect. Is there anything else I should add to that, council? And I would suggest constant communication with building and planning to keep them informed of the process, hopefully in a timely manner.
The only other thing I would add is that the board should direct the enforcement authority, the building department, to assess and collect the cost of enforcing the order, as well as the city's administrative costs. that's down the road, especially if demolition is required and all that, but, that should be part of your motion as well.
And then also to recoup the city's cost for enforcing the order and the administrative costs associated with this. And then there will be another meeting here at Board of Works on Tuesday, August 19th, whether it be with the current property owner if need be, or the new owner.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? Harry.
I'm sorry, one last.
Go ahead.
If the bids go out on the 18th, we should also set the date for opening those bids.
At the 19th meeting in August, right?
Oh, that's right, this is July.
Yeah, we're a month ahead here.
But I would make that part of the motion as well, that if the bids have gone out, then that will also be the date that.
Well, the bids won't go out because it's a process. So the bids will,
We would address it on the
18th, we'll know what that public bid process looks like. And on the 19th, we can announce the dates. We would have those. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a question. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Thank you. Ryan, thanks. Nothing from IT this morning. That brings us to AES.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just have one item on the agenda this morning for us. It's a 3-year term agreement with 800 West 15th Street. Monthly recurring will be the $650.22 with a one-time charge of $73.78.95.
I'll move to approve the 3-year term with 800 West 15th Street with a one-time cost of $7,378.95 and a monthly recurring of $650.22.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a question. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carried.
Thank you.
Nothing from Human Resources, City Attorney, or City Engineers. That brings us to the Clerk Treasurer.
Good morning. I am requesting board approval to carry over 3 vacation days for Deputy Clerk Treasurer Jenna Rosenberry after her anniversary date of August 4th to her next benefit year. She has been assisting the utility clerks due to a medical leave and some vacations.
I'll move to approve the carryover vacation days request.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a question. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carried.
Thank you.
Fire.
Good morning.
Morning.
Requesting your approval to accept a grant in the amount of $1,000 from Walmart Community Crossings.
I'll move to approve the acceptance of the Walmart grant in the amount of $1,000.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the Walmart grant. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a question. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carried.
Thank you. I would also like to request to amend the agenda for a grant acceptance.
I'll move to amend the agenda for grant acceptance.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to amend the agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a question. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carried.
So I'm requesting your approval to accept another grant. This one is through the Indiana Fire and Public Safety Training Support Grant. The amount of that grant was $6,508.78.
I will move to approve the acceptance of the grant for $6,508.78 from the Fire and Public Safety Support.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? I'd just like to say congratulations on $7,500 in grants.
Thank you.
No other discussion. I'll call for a question. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign, motion carried.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Okay, move on to Mayor. The first thing that I have is the lease agreement between the City of Auburn Fair Association and the DeKalb Outdoor Theater. They're looking at doing a project at the outdoor theater, and I believe there was 2 years left on the initial lease agreement. And that came to the city with a potential concern of, with their capital campaign to do the project. And I think now that they're established, we have a representative from the Fair Board here. I think initially when it got started, would you like to come up, Dave, for a second? I know you've been a part of this for many, many years, not to show your age. Initially, I believe, it's my understanding, it was through the Fair Association because the outdoor theater was just beginning to be established. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah, and then now that they're established, they kind of want to, Fair Association's still going to be a part of the agreement, but more of the responsibility is being put on the theater at this point.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
What started this is that through their campaign, they want to do some additions to the theater stage.
Mhm.
A dressing room, restrooms for acts that come in. Right now, they are changing behind a trailer. They want to get rid of all of that stuff, put an addition onto it. And through the start of their campaign, the initial start of it, they had questions concerning the lease that
Mhm.
you're talking maybe 2 years before it ends, and construction may not start in 2 years. So the concern was to extend it out, I believe, 10 years.
Yeah, which was the original term of the,
And the other part was that there was no line of succession in there, even recognizing the outdoor theater board or the outdoor theater. So I think in one of the sections they added, if the outdoor theater board defaults, it reverts to the Fair Association. If the Fair Association defaults, it reverts back to the city.
it just, yeah, because before it was just the Fair Association in the city. Outdoor
Yes,
theater was not
that was it.
referenced.
Yes,
So, okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
you're welcome.
So yeah, this is extending or amending the original agreement basically with a new one, extending that 2 years that was remaining to a total of 10 years.
And I think those were the only two major changes.
Yes,
And both Fair Board President and the outdoor theater board president signed off on it.
thank you. So with that,
We're good.
I'll entertain
You
a
can move.
motion.
Okay. I'll move to approve the outdoor theater lease regarding the outdoor theater with the Fair Association and the city.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, I'll call for a question. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, opposed, same sign, motion carried. The next I have is for Memorial Park compliance. It's a standard form through Okra that needs to be completed and received by Okra by July 30th. And what this form does is it collects the data from the project in regards to the way the funds are being spent. Our grant administrator, Matt Bondren with NERC, has the duty of completing this grant, which he's still compiling the data. But it's just to ensure that we've remained in compliance. So I just ask for permission from the board to sign this so that we can hit the deadline of July 30th.
I'll move to approve signing of the Memorial Park Compliance Form, Section 3 regarding the HELP grant.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any discussion or questions? I will say it's moving right along. I think we're still looking at completion by the end of the month. So that's great. And there's no other questions or discussion. I'll call for a question. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carried. And the last thing is the agreement from the Auburn Duesenberg Festival and TKDS Incorporated, which is the downtown bar that we have for ACD weekend. And it's just approval of them to set up on Thursday, August 28th. They will be there Friday, August 29th and Saturday, August 30th.
I'll move to approve the contract for the ACD Festival Bar for 2025 with TKDS.
Second,
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions?
I did talk to the festival board. This is the same vendor they've used for many years.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign, motion carried. Nothing from parks this week. That brings us to police.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a street closure request for the Auburn Presbyterian Church on July 29th from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. For a church ice cream social. They're requesting 13th Street from Main to Jackson be closed.
You said July 29th, it's 27th, correct? That's what is listed on here.
29th is a Tuesday, 27th is a Sunday.
Yeah, they listed the date. Yeah, it'll be the 27th then.
Okay.
Well, I will move to approve, ours says the 27th, but I will move to approve the street closure for Auburn Presbyterian Church on July 27th. From 1 to 5 p.m.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, questions? Hearing none, I'll call for a question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign, motion carried.
Next is a request for Auburn Main Street. This will be the paint the crosswalk artist dates. I'm going to go in date of order by the dates here. We have 5 total. The first one would be the east half of 6th Street in the 100 block of West. So basically from the bank to Main Street from July 20th to July 23rd. I'm sorry, July 20th at 2 p.m. to July 23rd at 6 a.m. All these dates are allowed time for them to prep, prime, paint, and dry before any motor vehicle traffic is on them.
And little to no impact. We spent a lot of time on
Yes.
this with the executive director and the chief and streets. So it was a lot of planning for sure.
The second one would be the 6th Street. Do we need to do these individually? Or can we do them all in one group because it's one request?
Yeah.
The next one would be the 100 block of East 6th Street from July 26th at 3 a.m. to July 28th at 7 a.m. Next one would be the east half of 13th Street from Jackson to Van Buren and Jackson Street from 13th to 14th Streets on August 1st through the 6th. And lastly would be Wayne Street to Van Buren and Ensley on August 17th from 9 a.m. to August 24th at 7 a.m. That's a little bit longer one because it's a much bigger project. And then any projects that are delayed due to the inclement weather, I just request that the board give myself as the chief of police the authority to approve those alternate rain dates.
You stated the one from library 2. Did you state library 1 or did you skip that?
You did.
I do. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we made sure that these did not impede with the festival for sure. And then the beginning of school, that's why I think the 6 a.m. timeframe on the 6th that's the first day of school. So we'll make sure that everything's open.
Correct.
I will move to approve the street closures. There are 5 of them listed here for Auburn Main Street. And the first one being July 6th Street, July 20th. The second one being a different part of 6th Street on July 26th. The third one for east half of the 13th Street on August 1st. Fourth one, Jackson Street from 13th to 14th Street on August 1st. And the fifth one, Wayne Street from Van Buren to Ensley on August 17th, starting all those days. And then to also approve the request for the chief of police to give authority if there an alternate date needs to be given.
And also with that, the reason we did the half streets, we normally don't do that, is to restrict the amount of effectiveness between the businesses and or residents. So we can go to the alleyway to have less problems or with parking and whatnot.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion?
That was going to be what I asked, was if the residents were spoken to about this, and there's no issue there.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it does not affect any resident.
One house.
One house out
One
of all of them, yeah. And very limited on the businesses.
Great.
There's no other questions or discussion. I'll call for a question. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign, motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have street.
Good morning.
Morning.
Street Department has two requests today. The first is for approval of contract with CSX, the railroad, for preliminary engineering services in reference to the NDOT project that we're working on the Wayne Street grade separation project, the overpass. That is a not to exceed amount of $40,480.
Okay, I'll move to approve the preliminary engineering agreement with CSX in the amount not to exceed $30,000.
So 40.
Oh, 40,480. Yeah.
Did you say second, Nick?
You did.
Okay. Any questions or discussion? Yeah, just to note that 30,000 of that is being reimbursed back to the city by NDOT as well as part of that agreement. There's no other questions or discussion. I'll call for a question. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you. Second item we have is requesting authorization to apply for an Indiana Department of Environmental Management Community Recycling Grant. This would be, if we are awarded, would be up to $100,000. The city would match that with $25,000. Intent for this grant would be to apply it to leaf collection equipment.
I'll move to approve applying for a grant with IDEM, the community recycling grant, in the amount of $100,000 with a city match of $25,000.
We have a motion, a second. Any discussions? And we do already have this chassis. It's one that they found a used chassis earlier this year, so. If there's no other questions or discussion, I'll call for a question. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign, motion carried.
Thank you.
Electric?
Good morning.
Morning.
We have two items for the board's consideration today. First one is permission for ACES to sell 5,742 RECs minted from February 1st of 2025 to June 30th of 2025 for no less than $23 per REC, or for a total of $132,066 or greater.
I will move to approve the sale for the RECs, the total amount of RECs being $5,742 with a minimum price per REC of $20.
Where'd you get 5,000?
Next page.
Oh, that's the number rec for sale, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The cover page was wrong.
Yeah, that's right. All right. We have a motion, a second. Any discussion or questions?
Did you second?
Did you second it?
Second.
Motion, a second. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a question. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign, motion carried.
Our second item is to surplus a non-working forklift that has been recommended to discard. This forklift is a Heister 50 model. Do you guys want the serial number?
I don't.
Okay. Lori?
Yeah, we have it listed here.
Okay.
I will move to approve the surplus of the foreclosure.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a question. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Next, we have water.
Good morning.
Good
Morning.
Got one item for your consideration today. I'd like to request the board's approval to apply for an apprentice scholarship through Hawkins Inc. Hawkins Inc. is it's a wastewater laboratory chemical and supply company, equipment supply company. And we currently have 3 water apprentices, going for their certifications through the Alliance of Rural Water Indiana. And this Hawkins Inc. is sponsoring 10 $3,000 scholarships to be used for costs associated with that apprenticeship program that those 3 individuals are enrolled in. And we'd just like to request your approval to apply for that on behalf of 2 of our own operator apprentices, Zach Scott and Jaron Parker. The 3rd apprentice has already been awarded a scholarship. So we'd like to try to get at least one of those available scholarships for one of these other 2 individuals. That scholarship is made to defray any legitimate training costs related to the apprenticeship, laptop, tuition, textbooks, etc., PPE, things like that. So just looking for your approval for myself to fill out that application on their behalf with the assistance and guidance of the apprenticeship program coordinator.
I will move to approve the request to apply for the scholarship through Hawkins Apprenticeship Scholarship Program.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion?
Good luck.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Hearing none, I'll call for a question. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Water pollution.
Morning.
Morning.
The Water Pollution Control Department has 2 items for your consideration today. The first is a sewer abatement request at 322 Willard Drive. They had a broken spigot on the outside of the home. It was investigated and it did go to ground.
I'll move to approve the sewage abatement for Willard Drive.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. to Approve the abatement. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a question. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you. The second item is your approval for our C-line storage for our long-term control plan. This would be the request to accept the plans, the specifications, and also your authorization to publicly advertise and receive bids for this project.
I'll move to approve acceptance for plans, specs, and authorization to publicly advertise and receive bids for C-line storage for the LTCP.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion, questions? Hearing none, I'll call for a question. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Board of Works regular meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, August 5th, 2025 at 9 a.m. Is there any other business to come before the board?
I will move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned.